easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Diamond Gusset is proud to announce the anthem of the Patriot Movement. They're offering a free CD, T-shirt, and bumper sticker with a qualifying purchase. Diamond Gusset offers great products at great prices while keeping Americans working.
I'm looking for a factory where a man can feed his family, not worried about them moving it south, closing the doors and shutting her down tomorrow. I'm looking for America.
We're American and be proud. Go to gusset.com/America.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. Seems like I just woke up one day and it was gone, long gone. But I know in my heart it's still
Again, go to gusset.com/America today.
Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Well, I want to commend our audience. I gave the number out 5 minutes ago for only people in Japan or folks that have military information on what the military is preparing to do, or folks in the Aleutian Islands. USA Today, New York Times, all reporting, confirming what we said yesterday. The Japanese are not releasing Geiger counter data. We know it was double, triple, or quadruple before. They don't want to show 10, 20, 30 times if it's melted down. What's really happening there? That's confirmed. It's also confirmed that they're estimating NOAA, the National Weather Service, is predicting that the first radiation that's lower from just the smaller problems last Friday will be reaching Southern California tomorrow via the wind streams, and not just the jet stream, but the trade winds below it and the surface winds. Hopefully most of it will go in the ocean, but we're going to be here tracking all this live. But I commend the listeners. I said only if you have intel or you're in Japan, call in, and we only got one caller. So, again, open phones for those who've got radiation detectors on the West Coast who are planning to track this. Have you gotten higher levels? Are you in Japan? Do you have family in Japan? 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231 will get you up and on the air right now. And Ron in California hung up. Ron, you were fine. You had a military source in your family that you were going to fill us in on what they'd said. I wasn't criticizing. I was saying I'm glad that you'd called. It's people with specific information. Here's somebody else I want to open the phone up for. Folks in Australia, because the winds move also southerly, and for a whole day they were blowing south, and the Aussies are freaking out because the Japanese have such a history of covering things up. I want to get your take on what your media is saying there. I got emails and saw comments by Aussies, folks there in Australia, saying your media is basically, though, trying to spin it like it's no big deal. Some of the media is being more honest about it. 1-800-259-9231, and I'll widen the field for folks to call in. If you're a nuclear physicist or work in plants or have comments about the explosions and fires that we've seen, and now the Japanese saying they may have to abandon hope, that they may not be able to cool these things down. Other reports saying they haven't lost hope. I want to hear from you. 1-800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. Let's go to Chris in Hawaii, also in the path. Chris, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just was searching the local news, and I saw Hawaii USPS checks Japan mail for radiation. The first paragraph says, U.S. Postal Service in Hawaii has begun checking mail arriving from Japan after mail in San Francisco and New York showed low levels of radiation, UPS officials said. So I just wanted to call you guys and turn you on to this story.
Yes, sir. Bloomberg did report 2 hours ago that flights from Tokyo into Dallas and into Chicago, O'Hare and DFW, both had radiation in the planes and on the people and their baggage, and they just released them. And, I mean, that's the time to confiscate their bags and say, sorry, this is going to a nuclear waste dump. Sorry, we're not going to let you take it home to your family and your kids and your neighbors or in the taxi cab. The planes are getting contaminated. They're also reporting NBC reporters have been contaminated. And the answer is, don't put them in scrubbers. Don't put them in decontamination facilities for their own health. Put them in where they scrub down with soap and water and get it all off of them, and then they blast that out. No, just send it on into America. Bring it on in, because radiation isn't bad. See, if they start acting like that radiation could be dangerous, then they have to admit there's a danger, see?
San Francisco and New York showed. Yes, it's very scary, Alex.
Now, we do have those reports. Anything else, Chris?
No, I'm just, I'm on the big island of Hawaii and just watching that jet stream, and it's pretty worrisome. They're not telling us anything here. Civil defense, you know, there's no local rad detectors here. You know, I got one in the mail coming, but, you know, you live in Hawaii, stuff takes 4, 5, 6 days to get here. And now,
well, you heard what the chemical physicist was explaining and what Dr. Bob Bowman explained, 3 degrees in physics, and what countless other experts have said, like Dr. Doug Rockey, also a physicist, former head of the Pentagon's program on it, that even a doubling is super dangerous because if you breathe it in, but the media is spinning it like it's no big deal.
Anything, and, you know, people in Hawaii, man, nobody's awake here. I was stocking up weeks before this, and then this hit, and I'm glad. I just want to thank you for waking me up because, you know, I got my food and water, and I'm ready to go get plastic for my windows. I don't know. You know, the jet stream looks like this weekend it's going to kind of spin around Hawaii from what I see. But, who knows, you know, we don't have the info, and I just want to thank you for keeping us informed, man.
Well, sir, I appreciate your call, and I'm not trying to gripe at you, but everybody who calls in needs to kill their radio or it becomes a distraction. Again, headlines here, radiation found at DFW O'Hare. This is all up on Infowars.com. Brought over by airline passengers, detectors installed at LAX. Radiation spurs fears around food. Despair turning to anger in Japan. That's also all up on the Drudge Report. And also they're reporting that some of the mail coming into the West Coast has tested positive for radiation. Continuing, no home, no help, no hope. Now Japan's despair turns to anger, tempers fray as homeless wait for food and medicine. As folks are saying, they're now 6 days into this with no evidence of being given any type of help. Again, I've specifically asked for callers on the issues that we've been covering, but no one has called in with specific intel, so I'll open the phones up completely with any comments, questions, or points you have, or if you want to point out any other news that we've not been covering with the economy, the stock market, the Middle East, the police state, while we've been focused on the radiation cloud ongoing, boiling out of Fukushima, coming our way. 800-259-9231. Dr. Bob Bowman hasn't joined us in a couple of days. He'll be joining us coming up at the bottom of the hour to give us his expert analysis on the deteriorating situation. KITV television reporting, Hawaii USPS checks Japan mail for radiation. San Francisco, New York centers find low levels. Of course, they said for 2 weeks that Chernobyl was low level. And they said for a lot longer than that, there was no big deal from 3 Mile Island, and we now know that that was a lie, The U.S. Postal Service in Hawaii has begun checking mail arriving from Japan after mail in San Francisco and New York showed low levels of radiation, USPS officials said. Hawaii USPS spokesman Duke Gonzalez said there has been no mail in Honolulu found with radiation yet. The Customs and Border Patrol in Honolulu is helping to ensure that the mail is screened properly, he said. But in Dallas and in Chicago, they just go ahead and send it on through. Now, I've looked at the jet stream. And there's different bands of it, but the main jet stream going over Japan loops up in one piece by Alaska down. Another part of it goes over by California. And looking at the map, if they're saying it's supposed to hit California tomorrow, Alaska's a lot closer. And maybe it's true what the television stations reported yesterday, that they picked up radiation, but it was low level, don't worry. But then in the article said, well, it isn't here yet, but we think it'll be low level. I mean, all very, very suspicious. We'll continue to watch this as it unfolds. Michael in New York says he disagrees, so we'll skip Josh and Birch and go to them in a moment. Michael, you're on the air worldwide.
Hi there. I wanted to talk about HAARP a little bit. I mean, I understand the concern about, what's going to happen immediately now, but nobody really knows what this HAARP does. And we've had our own earthquakes here in Arkansas, and with all the birds dropping out of the air right before they had their earthquakes. And then the entire Pacific Plate has had activity around it except California. And I just think that we need to be talking a little more about HAARP and what exactly does it do.
Well, ma'am, you may not have heard our broadcast, Michelle. Sorry if I called you Michael. I'm looking across the room here at the names. But we have covered HAARP a lot over the years. We sell videos and books by Dr. Nick Begich on it. I've interviewed the head, the director of HAARP. We know that it is involved in weather modification and reportedly manipulating the magnetic field of the Earth. But we know March 11th, on Friday, that hours before the mega tsunami and earthquake, a huge solar flare, one of the biggest ever recorded, directly hit the Earth. That is the magnetic energy from it, hit the Antarctic, and even mainstream news was predicting earthquakes from it. And we have the moon, and we've had an astrophysicist on, who's Piers Corbin, saying he believes the two things together, clearly the moon, and when it's closer, you have higher tides, higher waves, and it also pulls magma bulging towards the moon with its gravity. And so Piers Corbin, who's highly respected, has an incredible prediction rate of over 85% a year out on severe weather, believes it was the combo of the moon being close and that solar flare that caused it. I mean, it wasn't HAARP that caused Pompeii 2,000 years ago. It wasn't HAARP that caused Krakatoa, 80-something years ago to go off. I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
No, I understand that. I know you've covered it in the past, but what I meant was just, talking about HAARP in relation to this disaster. That's, what I'm saying.
Well, you must have missed me reading Secretary of Defense William Cohen in '97 in Army Times admitting that there are governments with earthquake weapons. But yes, I think we should talk about it more. In fact, that's a great guy to get on. Let's get Dr. Nick Begich on the next few days. Let's get him on tomorrow or on the Sunday broadcast. He's a great guy to have on to talk about that. Thank you, Michelle, for pointing that out. We do need to cover that more. You're right. We will start looking into it more. I'm mainly looking at the fallout. I got children. You get older, you don't really care about yourself too much. You get resigned to death. I enjoy life. But you know what? It's coming, so gut up. And kind of like jumping off a railroad trestle 300 feet into the water. You just gut up and know it's coming. And we're all got to jump someday. We're all going to die. But my little babies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very upset for them. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can